boys and girls, today we're going to read more about realistic fiction. Realistic fiction has characters that are the people in the realistic fiction. The details describe characters and the reasons for their actions. Remember back to the blackout where we read about the boy who helped Mrs. Johnson? That was describing realistic characters and their actions. Set a purpose for reading. It is important to think about why you're reading. Your purpose or reason could be to learn or to have fun. Realistic fiction anchor chart. Characters, Pam. The character and details. Words that describe Pam are Pam jumps up and down. Yes, Pam says. And pictures describe Pam. Here's a picture of Pam. Tell more about the characters. Pam is happy. So in realistic fiction, you have people that seem real, characters that seem real, and they are doing events that seem real in a real place. Today we have two stories. We're going to start with The Garden Party. The Garden Party was written by Charles L. Smith Jr. and illustrated by Debbie Palin. That means that Charles R. Smith Jr. is our author and Debbie Palin is our illustrator, so she did the pictures. Community garden. We got the spot for our garden, said Dad. How can we plant the garden? Asked Jamal. It's so big. We can have a garden party, said Mom. Right, said Dad. Our neighbors will help. They will? Asked Jamal. Vocabulary and context. What does the word garden mean? What part of the pictures help you figure it out? Let's look at the garden. Garden, garden, garden. How can our picture help us figure out what that word means? Well, if I'm looking at this picture, it says community garden. I can see a garden is going to be places where they plant things. First, they went to the tall apartment buildings on State Street. We will help, their neighbors said. Here's the apartment. Look at all the neighbors in there. Next, they went to the red brick houses near the park. We will help, their neighbors said. Here are those houses. Here's the park. What can you understand about the neighbors? Highlight the details that help you. So what kind of neighbors do you think Jamal has? Are they helpful or not helpful? Right, they're helpful because right here it says that they will help. And the ones over here said that they will help. Do all of his neighbors live in one place? No. These ones live in an apartment and these ones live in a house, but everyone's going to help. Last, they went to the little stores on Main Street. We will help, their neighbors said. You were right, Dad, said Jamal. Our neighbors did help. That's what neighbors do, said Dad. How does Jamal feel now? Underline the text that helps you describe Jamal. Here's where Jamal is talking. You were right, Dad, said Jamal. Our neighbors did help. So how do you think Jamal feels? Probably good because his neighbors did help. Let's look back at this page. Are neighbors only the people that live there? No, these are the neighbors that run the stores. So people that work in the stores are also your neighbors. Let's go on to our next story. Click, clack, click. This is written by Isabel Campoy and illustrated by Peter Francis. So Peter Francis did the pictures and Isabel Campoy is our author. Community Center. Let's look at our picture before we get started. Here's our mom. How do you think she feels? Probably happy. We can see that in the picture. But how about our little girl? How does she feel? She looks a little worried to me. Amina just moved here. She doesn't know anyone. Amina and her mom walked to the center to meet friends. Clink, 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 clink. What are you playing? Amina asks. These are pieces of wood, Adnan says. You clink them together. Close read. How do you think Amina feels? Underline the text that helps you describe Amina. How do you think Amina feels? Well, she just moved here. She probably feels kind of nervous. I can see that in the picture too. How do you think she feels when she sees the people? She looks happy. She's curious. She wants to know what they're doing. Let's keep going. Tap, 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 tap. What are you playing? Amina asks. It is a wooden box, Kim says. You beat on it. What are you playing? Amina asks. It is a gourd, Gabriel says. You move the beads. Shh, 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 shh. So what do you think? Do you think Amina likes music? I think so. She wants to know what everyone is playing. Do you want to join our neighborhood band? They ask. I don't have an instrument to play, Amina says. How do you think Amina feels now? Maybe sad. She doesn't have an instrument. Yes, you do, they say. You have a jar. Now Amina has an instrument and friends too. Clink, clack, click. How does Amina feel now? Underline the text that helps you describe Amina. Well, I can see on her face she looks happy. Let's see if we can find that in the text. Now Amina has an instrument and friends too. If I was Amina and I was given an instrument and I made some friends, I'd be pretty happy. Those are our 2 stories. Don't forget to do the activity.